right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, finally we've got confirmation that Hadi Choopan is doing the Arnold Classic UK. He just arrived today, Thursday, so really cutting it close, really last minute. I had heard earlier this week that Hadi did get his visa, but for some reason was still in Texas and hadn't even left yet for the UK. So I wanted to wait until we saw for sure that he was in the UK. And Hadi Rambod posted today, they are both there together in Birmingham. And honestly, I'm really curious to see how Hadi looks when he actually takes the stage this weekend because of the fact that they did cut it so close. This is pretty last minute. And I wonder if that flight it's a pretty long flight, and that flight being just one day prior to him taking the stage is pretty, it's pretty significant. That's pretty close to the show, and I wonder if that's going to impact his physique at all. But certainly, at this point, I think Samson is probably not too happy to see Hadi showing up, because prior to this, it kind of was looking like Hadi might not make it, which, of course, put Samson as next in line to win. But now that Hadi's doing it, regardless of what happened with the flight, if that impacts his physique, I personally think Hadi is going to go back-to-back Arnold Classic titles relatively easily. If his conditioning is even remotely close to what it was in Ohio, which I feel like was potentially his all-time best physique ever, and potentially his all-time best conditioning ever, I think this is really Hadi's show to lose. And with all the things that we've heard are kind of going against Samson, with him being sick, all this kind of drama that's happened with Samson and him splitting with Milos, his wife prepping him for the show, I'm just not super convinced that based on all these factors that we're likely to see a better version of Samson here in the UK than we did in Ohio. But I guess the one thing that works in Samson's favor is home field advantage. Samson is competing in his home country. He doesn't have to travel far like he did for the Arnold Ohio. So maybe that's one point in Samson's favor that is working, I think, arguably against Hadi. I believe that a flight from Dallas all the way to London is like at a minimum 10 hours if it's a nonstop flight. And to do that just a day before the show, because we're going to have the same schedule here that we had at the Arnold Ohio, Friday night prejudging and then Saturday night finals for the men's open guys. Hadi is literally taking the stage tomorrow, and he just got off the plane today. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Your Arnold Classic predictions. We actually did just get the official competitor list today for both men's open bodybuilding and classic physique. So in men's open, you've got 7 competitors: James Hollingshead, Akim Williams, Hadi Choopan, Samson Dowda, John De La Rosa, Antoine Vaillant, and Mo Shaban. So you've got 3 less competitors here than you had in the Arnold Ohio, and then you've also got 7 competitors in classic physique, including Wesley Vissers, Emmanuel Rakoti, Breon Ansley, Urs Kausinski, Michael DeBull, Dennis Romanov, and Josh Eastham. So let me know your predictions in the comments below. Let me know your top 3 for both classic physique and men's open bodybuilding. Personally, I have a feeling Hadi's going to win this one again. Hadi in first, I think. Samson in second. And I think third place is going to be a battle between Akim and John De La Rosa. If Akim looks as good here as he looked at the finals for the Arnold Ohio, I could see Akim sliding in that third place spot. And by the way, Akim did just post a physique update like an hour or 2 ago of him in his hotel in the UK. And frankly, I think he looks better here than any of the peak week updates that we saw of Akim going into the Arnold Ohio. So maybe we are kind of in for a treat here, and maybe we're going to see a better version of Akim that looks more like, or maybe better than, the Arnold Classic Ohio finals version of the UK, or of the US rather. And again, at the Ohio, at prejudging, Akim's placing, his score was 7th place. At the finals of the Arnold Ohio, Akim tightened up and improved so much that at the finals, the judges had him in 4th. Now, the average of those 2 scores wound up placing him in 6th. So that's why you didn't see him actually place 4th place at the night show. However, if you see Akim at the prejudging of the UK look as good as he looked at the finals of the US, and then he repeats that at the finals of the UK, I think he's going to be a strong top 3 candidate here. And like I said, what we're seeing in this update in this side chest here. To me, he looks leaner and drier than a lot of the updates that we saw going into the Ohio. He looks really good in this update, but granted, it's really good natural goon lighting here. But there's really no denying he looks really good in this update. And I think, based on what we saw, that was honestly, at the Arnold, Ohio, that was one of the biggest swings I think I've seen since I've been watching bodybuilding. I believe it was something like a 15-point swing from finals to prejudging that Akim was able to improve overnight. And that in bodybuilding, 15 points better at the finals is very significant. Most bodybuilders are extremely lucky if they move up one placing between the prejudging and the finals. Akim, with 15 points, was able to move 3 placings. That's pretty big. And now, honestly, I feel like maybe we underestimated him a little bit at the Arnold, Ohio. So now I want to make sure we have him in that conversation as a potential top 3 guy because he really impressed me at the Arnold, Ohio. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, next up in the news, another guy that we've got a physique update from that I think will likely be in that 3rd place spot in Classic Physique, Breon Ansley. He was 4th place at the Arnold Classic Ohio. This UK lineup is the same except minus Ramon Dino, so minus that 1 placing would put him in the top 3. And again, I do feel like these placings are probably going to be pretty similar to what we saw at the Arnold Classic Ohio because of the fact these shows are so close together. I don't think we're going to see massive differences in these guys' physiques, maybe in conditioning, and that's why I think the area that you might see a little bit more transformation is with Urs. I think that Urs was off at the Arnold Classic Ohio, and I think that was mostly conditioning, and I think when we talk about Urs, he's known for conditioning. So if he's able to come back to this UK show, and he could look significantly better because we've seen him a lot more dialed in than he was in Ohio. I think he could really push Wesley if he's really truly on at the UK show. But like we kind of heard the recap from Tyler Manning where Tyler talked about how Breon's legs are a little undersized and that's one of the reasons why he places the way he places. And that's not really something that Breon's going to be able to change in just 2 weeks. I thought his conditioning at the Arnold, Ohio was fine. And I think the same thing could be said with men's open bodybuilding. I mean, Hadi Made is known for being one of the most consistently conditioned bodybuilders of all time. I don't see him having a massive change in conditioning in 2 weeks from the Ohio to this show. Samson, I have a hard time thinking he's going to be massively improved from Ohio to this show in just 2 weeks, considering all the factors that are kind of working against him. So I feel like you're probably going to see a lot of these placings be the same. And I think there's a good chance that both Wesley and Hadi win the UK show and the Ohio show back-to-back pretty predictably. But I do definitely feel like Urs could be a little bit of a wild card because he was definitely, I would say noticeably, even significantly off from what we usually expect from him. So he could be a guy that makes a massive improvement. It's possible because conditioning is kind of his thing, and we've seen him a lot better than we saw him in Ohio. So that's possible that he could push Wesley if he's like really on here, but I guess we'll see. Now, one of the other guys that I think is going to be in contention here is one of the higher placers at the Arnold Classic Ohio, 5th place James Hollingshead. Now, in addition to Samson, he also has home field advantage here, also being from the UK. And also, like Samson, he did not finish his Arnold Classic Ohio prep with Milo Sarcev. But we already talked about John De La Rosa in the last video, who was 4th place at the Arnold Classic Ohio. James being 5th, I feel like puts him in the conversation for top 4 here with the absence, obviously, of Rafael Brandao, who was in 3rd in Ohio. And while I think James looks great here, I really think it depends on how Akim looks. Because when I rewatch that comparison of Akim and Hadi and Rafael and Samson, I feel like Akim really belonged in that mix. So if he looks that good, I think he really has a strong possibility of pushing out guys like John and James and being a top 3 guy here. But it all depends on that conditioning, and we just don't know at this point how good Akim is going to look on stage. He's been very hit or miss when it comes to his conditioning. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, give me your top 3 predictions for both Open and Classic Physique at the Arnold Classic UK. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon, all that good stuff. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. Alright guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also check out my Instagram at NICKS&P, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel, and consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.